Benjamin Netanyahu has finally won the election and returned to the seat as Israel's prime minister, and there's so much tension. There has been rumors that Netanyahu is in contact with and will eventually hand over his keys to the Messiah. What is happening? Will the Messiah be ushered in through Netanyahu? Or is this a case scenario of the long-awaited son of perdition? Keep watching to find out. Until the end, the controversy around the concept of the Messiah will always be there for the Jews, as new messiahs are being invented every day, and the concept gets more complex. First, let's look at the Jews' concept of the Messiah. The Jewish Messiah is a figure in the study of the end times, believed to bring salvation and ultimate redemption to the Jewish people. According to Jewish tradition, the Messiah will be a descendant of King David, who will restore the kingdom of Israel and establish peace and justice throughout the world. In Judaism, there is much debate about the identity and the role of the Messiah, as well as the nature of the Messianic age. Some Jews believe that the Messiah has already come, while others believe that the Messiah has yet to arrive and will appear in the future. The concept of the Messiah has also significantly impacted Christian beliefs, as many Christians believe that Jesus of Nazareth was the Jewish Messiah. However, this belief is not accepted by Jews, as they do not recognize Jesus as the Messiah. But out of the midst of the whole conflict of beliefs, an issue is arising. The Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu seems to be associated in some way with an acclaimed Messiah. What does this mean? Netanyahu has finally won the 2022 prime ministerial election. Eyes are rolling as people wonder why he has returned and the significance of this. This is because prophecies of some rabbis of old have also gone ahead to foretell the recent events involving Netanyahu. Derived from the prophecies, many have come up with a very weird speculation. Some of the speculations include that Netanyahu is relevant to the coming of the Messiah. According to other speculations, Netanyahu might be a big part of the two-stage Messianic structure. But why on earth will such a speculation be made about the Prime Minister of Israel? What is the Prime Minister involved in? The statements made by close associates of the Prime Ministers continue to spark up rumors that also support the claim. Numerous articles and even more have been released. According to one of the Jewish rabbis, the Prime Minister is already holding meetings with the Messiah. Wow! But this claim did not just start now. It dates back to September 29, 2002, when the earliest claim was made about Netanyahu. To make things worse, two well-known and devoted Jewish rabbis named Rabbi Yitzkif and Rabbi Chenderson had prophesied decades ago that Benjamin Netanyahu would be elected and that he would be the last prime minister of Israel until the Messiah returned. But what does this mean? Later, their words were reiterated in an article published right before the election. Many people widely embraced their prophecy as it served as an instrument of hope to the Jews who had rejoiced awaiting its fulfillment. Some even interpreted this prophecy to mean that the Prime Minister has something to do with the Messiah, and that his returning to office would, in turn, facilitate the return of the Messiah. Hence, people rejoiced the most when the last election on November 1, 2022 looked good for Netanyahu. That was all people needed to be convinced. In 2019, an article was released stating that Netanyahu held the keys to the Messiah. This is quite bizarre. The speaker accuses people of spilling Netanyahu's blood, saying that he has a surprise for them and that Netanyahu will stand tall on God's side. He goes further to say that Netanyahu has a promise from the rabbi and is going to make it through this, and that he hopes that Netanyahu will be able to hand his keys over to Mashiach the Messiah, and that the Jews will, as a result, have the complete and true redemption. Strange. In another article, it is said that Netanyahu will have the scepter to the Messiah, the son of David. From these articles, Netanyahu is put into a positive light as he is to usher in the Messiah. But in the Jewish books, the role of ushering in the Messiah is relegated to just one man, and it is none other than the Messiah himself. But this time, the Messiah ben Joseph. This is the first Messiah out of the two Messiahs in the two-stage Messianic structure. What is this? The two-stage Messianic structure in Judaism refers to the belief in the coming of two separate Messianic figures. The first stage is the coming of the Messiah, son of Joseph, who is seen as a precursor to the ultimate Messiah, the Messiah, son of David. According to Jewish tradition, the Messiah, son of Joseph, will appear in a time of great crisis and hardship, and will be a leader and warrior who will defeat Israel's enemies and bring about a temporary period of peace. However, this peace will be short-lived, and the Messiah, son of David, will eventually come to complete the world's ultimate redemption. The Messiah, the son of David, is seen as the ultimate savior and the bringer of everlasting peace and prosperity. He will rebuild the Temple of Jerusalem, restore Israel's kingdom, and end all suffering and oppression. This figure is widely expected in Judaism and is the subject of much longing and hope. From all said, it is obvious that the Messiah ben Joseph will usher in the Messiah ben David. But can the Messiah ben Joseph be Netanyahu, or is this another form of the son of perdition being pushed forth? According to Rabbi Shiridi, the Messiah ben Joseph is a leader in the material world, and Netanyahu seems to fit this role from all indications. So far, Netanyahu has been presented as the result of a spiritual being relevant in preparing the way for the coming of the next stage of the Messianic age, which is the era of Messiah ben David. How does that sound? But we must be wise because the Bible mentions that the Antichrist will not exactly be the direct opposite of Jesus Christ, but he will be a perfect image of the Prince of Darkness, coming as an angel of light. He will imitate the true Christ, but he will deceptively do that, and in the end, he will lead the world to the wrong path. According to prophecy, someone would open the door to the Antichrist. He would be ushered into power by someone that holds the keys already. When we hear this, we cannot help but think of Netanyahu. This might be the spiritual fulfillment of the coming of the Antichrist, who is the man of sin. We don't know who the Prime Minister is talking to and why he claims that he is the Messiah. But what we are sure of is that the acclaimed Messiah is definitely not the Son of God. We know this because the Bible had warned us before time. Amidst the chaos, the founder of the congregation, Shema Yisrael, Rabbi Mario Marinho, shockingly, however, seems to be saying something different about the matter. According to him, the Messiah may not come in any form. Instead, he could be like the Morai of Islam, a political figure. He also claims that he could be an alien from outer space who will come to the earth and dominate. While all these are possibilities, recent events and developments point in another direction. Again, the Bible indicates that the Messiah must be a Jew. So, is Netanyahu the Antichrist or not? Very relevant is the coming of Jesus and his testimony wherein he said that he had been sent to the lost sheep of Israel. Can you record a story? He was rejected and crucified on his own. Surprisingly, the Antichrist will also come in the same manner, and it will be the lost sheep of Israel, just as Jesus did. However, this time around, Israel's lost sheep will still find it difficult to accept Jesus Christ as the Messiah. Filling in the gap, they will automatically accept him, and he will be their Messiah. This reminded us of Jesus' confession when he said that he had come in his Father's name, and they did not receive him. But if someone else came in his own name, they would have received him. This shows how distorted man's views and belief systems seeing the truth and not recognizing it. According to an article on July 25, 2020, the Rabbi says that the Antichrist is the Messiah the Jews are waiting for. The article also recounts some of the characteristics of the Antichrist that were mentioned in the Bible. It says that he will be a direct descendant of the house of David, not just a leader, but also a great one, such that the world has never seen, supervising the rebuilding of the third temple, restoring the Sanhedrin, and bringing the house of Israel together. According to the article, the Antichrist will be a Jew and the descendant of David to make things look real. We've come to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching till the end. What are your opinions about Netanyahu and the Messiah he is in contact with? What do you think will solve the Jewish Messiah's problem? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, ensure to like, share, and subscribe for more.